Life isn't always easy. In fact, sometimes it can be pretty hard. We might hit points where we feel overwhelmed with life or stuck in a rut, unhappy with the people we're around or how we spend our time. We might struggle with change or to adapt to difficult circumstances. We might feel frustrated with ourselves for not making progress towards our goals or spending time doing the things we're passionate about. We might feel like the life that we've been living isn't reflective of the life that we want to live and who we are on the inside. Now, there's a lot of reasons that you might end up feeling this way, where you feel unhappy with the things around you or the people you spend your time with or just where you're at in life and feel like you're not really making progress towards your goals and the things that matter to you. And I'm not going to act like there's any one quick, easy way to fix all of it, but I've definitely struggled with these things a lot at different points in life. And I want to share with you some of the things that have kind of helped me work through it and the things that I try to keep in mind when I'm at that point in life to help reshape my life to where I feel more happy and on track, and like the things that I'm doing and making progress towards are in line with who I am and who I want to be and what I want my life to look like. I will say really quick, I think that anybody who is really struggling with stress, anxiety, depression to a really severe extent where you feel like you really just can't handle the things that you're going through on your own right now, I highly recommend for you to consider therapy. Even if it's something that you wouldn't normally think about, it's important for you to understand that there's really nothing wrong or negative about going to therapy. It doesn't say anything bad about you. It doesn't mean that you're weak or you can't do things on your own. It's just human to need someone to help you work through things sometimes, because we don't know everything and we can't do everything on our own. Therapy has helped me a lot work through things multiple different points in my life, and it really does make a world of difference. So I would urge you to at least consider it if you really are going through a tough point in life. With that being said, I really do want to share with you some of the things that have helped me keep my life on track and get it back on track when I'm struggling and I feel like everything is out of touch with who I am or where I want to be. And it revolves mostly around authenticity, specifically living with authenticity and incorporating it into your relationships, your decisions, your life, and using it to take an active role in shaping your life into one that is more fulfilling and makes you more happy. Before we get too far, I want to interrupt and say this video is pretty long. I'm going to go through an in-depth breakdown of what these forms of authenticity look like in your life and why they're important. Now, I feel like this is really important for a lot of people to hear, but if you feel like you don't want to go through the full breakdown of everything, feel free to just skip to the process at the end. I think that's going to be really helpful for pretty much anybody, and I'll put chapters in the timeline if you do want to skip around. So first I want to define what authenticity is to me. I consider general authenticity to be being honest with yourself about how you feel about things, your personal beliefs and values, your emotions, and letting your decisions and behaviors, your interactions with people, and everything you do be genuinely reflective of those things, of those personal interests and beliefs and values, and just being true to yourself. And I think you can split this up into being authentic with yourself and being authentic with other people. So specifically, being authentic with yourself would mean being honest with yourself in your mind when you assess things and when you assess how you feel about your emotions, your interests, your stress factors, and how things are making you feel, what you're getting out of different social interactions and obligations, how you feel about relationships with people, how you feel about the things that you're spending your time on, and what those things are doing for you as far as making progress towards the things you care about and your goals and the things you're passionate about and the things that you consider to be meaningful. So being honest with yourself about all of those things would be what I consider to be authenticity with yourself. And then we have authenticity with other people. Now, this would be letting your interactions with other people be reflective of your personal values, your beliefs, your goals, your interests, your emotions, how you feel about things, and just incorporating honesty to yourself on that level with your interactions with other people. This involves being willing to draw boundaries where you need to and prioritize your needs over other people's needs if it comes down to it. Now, I don't mean being selfish and not caring about other people or doing anything for other people. What I mean is being willing to choose and decide what you're willing to spend your time on and engage with. All right, now I want to quickly go over some of the reasons I think these forms of authenticity are important, as well as some of the downsides of not having them present in your life. So one form of authenticity that's important is how you feel about the things that you spend your time on and the things that you engage with. This is important because our time is our most valuable asset and we'll never get it back. How you spend your time ends up being what your week looked like, what your month looked like, the relationships that you form, the memories that you form, your progress towards goals. It's everything. And we only have a certain amount of time as well as energy, so we should be spending it on things that are fulfilling, things that make us happy or give back to us in some way, whether that's in the immediate sense or in the long term by building us up or contributing to our long-term goals or doing something to shape our life in the way that we want it to be shaped. And if you're not taking an active role in deciding how to spend your time and energy in ways that benefit you, it could have some downsides. Some of those downsides are feeling like we waste our time, feeling like we're not making progress towards our goals or doing anything that we feel is meaningful or the things that we're passionate about, or wasting our time giving it to other people for social obligations that we just feel like we have to be a part of, even if we really don't want to. I mean, of course it's important to have friends in your life and spend time with people, but if you're stuck spending time with people that do things that don't align with your values or just want to go out and drink all the time, and it's taking away from your ability to make progress towards your goals and do things that are important to you, then that's harming you and setting you back more than it's helping you. Another form of authenticity that's important is honesty with ourselves about our emotions and how we feel about things, whether we're stressed out, happy, sad, the things that we look forward to, or the things that are really hurting us. Emotions are like signals that respond to our environment, our interactions, the stimulus around us, our desires and our needs, and they guide us. They make up a huge part of life. In fact, they kind of make up the experience of experiencing life in a lot of ways. Now, it's important to understand that emotions aren't everything. You can't just blindly follow them, but you do need to learn how to read them and use them as guidance. So it's important to be honest with yourself about the ways that you're feeling and the ways that things are impacting you. Not processing your emotions and ignoring the negative ones or ignoring things that are stressing you out or hurting you and suppressing those things can create a whole lot of more complex issues that are a lot more difficult to deal with in the long run and end up hurting you a lot more than if you were just to face those things head on. And I know it's not easy. It's definitely not something that should be treated like it's just as simple as facing the things that are difficult. But if you just blindly ignore them and try to bottle them up, you end up creating a whole ball of unprocessed emotions and unprocessed stress or even trauma, depending on the extent of the circumstances. And those things can take a lot longer to be able to unravel and work through in the long run. Or you might end up following the trajectory of your life to a point where you can't even remember what things are stressing you out or causing certain problems for yourself. And then you have a way more difficult time finding clarity and actually working through those things. Ultimately, it's just important to pay attention and be honest with yourself about your negative emotions and positive emotions and how things are affecting you so that you can notice and assess when something in your life is doing you a disservice or setting you back or hurting you and start taking an active role in fixing that thing. I think that this can sometimes be a really difficult thing for people with the way that our society is right now, when there's a lot of pressure put on us by social media to be perfect, or sometimes gender norms that are put on guys to not show their emotions. But it really is important to understand that your emotions are important and valid, and you need to be in tune with them to be able to make your life the best life that it can be. Now, finally, another form of authenticity that's important is just being honest with yourself about your happiness with life overall and how you feel about where you're at in life. What I mean by this is, how happy are you on a day-by-day basis? How happy are you with the people that you're around and your friends, your relationships? How happy are you with the things that you spend your time on? Do you get to do the things that you're passionate about and things that interest you? Are you making progress towards your long-term goals? How happy are you with your job and how that's going to align with your future in the long term? I think a lot of people have different forms of unhappiness present in their life, regardless of what specific form it is. And they just kind of shrug it off and accept it or tolerate it. And they kind of neglect to take an active role in identifying that source of unhappiness and trying to do things to take control of their life and shape it to start generating that happiness. All in all, life is too short to be content with a life where you're unhappy. And I think that if you're in a place where you're not happy with your life or the trajectory that it's going, you should try to take an active role in reshaping it to one that is more reflective of you and serves you better and makes you feel more happy and fulfilled. All right, now the last part of this lecture on authenticity, I want to talk about some of the negative effects and downsides that you can experience in your life if you're not making an effort to take these things seriously or have these forms of authenticity present in your life. All right, so I know I've kind of already touched on some of these things a little bit, so I'll try to go through these quickly. The first one is feeling unhappy or dissatisfied with the ways that we spend our time and energy. And this is important because it can just lead to feeling unproductive, unsatisfied with ourselves, unsatisfied with our progress towards goals, feeling like we don't do anything meaningful, and just unhappy with ourselves overall. And this can actually hurt our self-esteem because we feel like we're not making any progress towards our goals or doing anything meaningful with our time. Now, the second one is spending time with people who aren't your real friends, who either disrespect you or don't value you, or want you to spend time doing things that don't align with you and your goals, and things that are beneficial to you that you don't want to spend your time on, things that might even hurt you and set you back. Now, this is a negative for a few reasons. The first reason is because you're taking away from the time that you could be spending growing as a person, doing things that matter to you, working towards your goals, and doing things that are going to make your life healthier and more fulfilling. Number two, you're taking away from the time that you could be forming genuine friendships with people who do align with your values and goals, who do care about you, and who will make your life much more fulfilling and probably lead to much better relationships and companionship. Those friends really are out there, and I know it can be hard to take that leap of faith sometimes, but you have to be willing to follow the path of who you are and trust that those authentic friends that align with you will come along. And number three, it's a negative because you're teaching yourself that you're not enough as you are, that your values and personal traits and the things that make you the unique individual that you are aren't enough, and that you need to modify yourself and try to be someone that you're not to get the approval of other people. You're teaching yourself that if you just be yourself and you prioritize yourself, if you draw boundaries and pursue things that are going to be beneficial to you instead of putting other people first, that you're going to be rewarded by social validation and that it's okay to do that. Now, this really can be a hard point to talk about because when you're surrounded by people or you've already made a connection with certain people and they have an expectation for you to be there, for you to do certain things with them, it feels like an obligation and it's really hard to let somebody down. But you have to prioritize yourself, because if you put yourself on the back burner and you just continue going about life without prioritizing yourself, then you're always going to be living for other people, and you're just going to be disappointed in the fact that you never took the time to prioritize yourself and make that solid progress towards where you want to be, who you want to be, the things that you want to see in your life. And that can be so much more defeating than the letdown of letting somebody down. So that really is a big one that I urge you to think about and consider the importance of. Now, finally, the last one is just being content with being unhappy or not satisfied with life overall. And there's a couple downsides to this one too. One of them is the fact that somewhere on the inside, you're accepting the fact that my happiness isn't worth it. that it's not worth the extra effort to do things and change things or reshape my life to make me happy or to make it one where I'm fulfilled and satisfied, because I'm not worth it, or because it's not worth the effort, or because I don't deserve it. Whatever the underlying reason for you to be complacent or accept things as they are, it does hurt your happiness, but also your self-esteem and your faith in yourself and your own personal ability. You also just miss out on being able to pursue the things that you're passionate about and the things that are the most meaningful to you. It's important for you to realize that we're all unique and special in our own way, and we all have our own unique value to ourselves and other people, to the world, and the things that make you who you are beautiful. You need to nourish those things, and you need to nourish you. You need to create an environment where you're thriving and being the most robust, true, full version of yourself, so that you can shine that light of your unique self onto the world around you. So it's not selfish to prioritize your happiness and yourself being able to live that best life, because it has a positive impact on yourself and all of the people around you. I hope you've been able to follow along with the points that I've been trying to make. I talk about authenticity, but it's really also about just taking the time to look at your life and reflect on all the things that make your life what it is right now. Also thinking about how you really feel about all the things that you're engaging with and spending your time on. How satisfied and content are you with everything for the way it is? A big part of the point here is realizing that you do have a level of control over the things in your life and the ways that you shape your life, more so than you might realize. I think it's really important to have a clear mindset on the things that you want to incorporate into your life and the ways that you want it to look. Your personal values, your goals, and everything that you want to see in your life around you. And realizing that things aren't just flying by you. You have the ability to step in and take an active role in shaping those things. And that's really where the authenticity starts to come into play. So to help you do that, I'm about to walk you through a process where we're really going to write down everything that you have present in your life, the things that you spend your time and energy on. And then we're going to write down all of the ways that your life is being shaped by those things, all of the emotions and stress factors in your life. And we're going to use that to be able to look at the bigger picture and start thinking about how we might begin to reshape things and where you might be able to start taking control over little parts of your life to improve the good things about it and fix some of the things that are holding you back or stressing you out. And now I know it might be a lot to ask you to actually get a piece of paper and sit down and go through this process with me, but I really do think that it's a powerful process that can help you a lot if you do, and it has the potential to really help you process and visualize your life for what it is right now. Not only that, but it's going to help you get an idea of how you can start taking control over things in your life and reshaping it for the better moving forward. We can sit and talk and think about these things all day long, but actually sitting down and writing them down, having something to look at that you can reflect on and come back to, can make the difference between just thinking about them and forgetting about them, or actually committing to these changes and making them a part of your life. Okay, so we're going to start off first by making a list of all the things that we spend our time and energy on. There's going to be immediate things that stand out at first, like work, your daily routine, and your relationships, but I want you to dig deeper and try to really think of anything that you spend any amount of time and energy on at all throughout your day, throughout your week, throughout your month. Think about your social obligations, your various responsibilities, the time that you spend with your family, with your friends, your daily routine, the recreational activities and sports that you're involved with, exercise, maybe playing music or watching live music, your hobbies, your video games, reading, your pets, time you spend hanging out with friends, time you spend watching movies and TV, your doctor's appointments, schoolwork, household chores, therapy, studying. These are just some examples that I can think of off the top of my head, but I want you to really take the time to think about it and think about anything that you spend any time or energy on at all on a regular basis that you can anticipate any of your time in the foreseeable future or in the recent past going to. Now we're going to make another list and do the same thing, but with all the emotions and stress factors in our life. This is going to be anything that you feel literally anything about at all. I want you to write down the things that you're happy about in your day-to-day life, the things things that you look forward to, the things that stress you out, the things that are draining you, the things that you're sad about, the things that might be overwhelming, the people that you look forward to seeing, the people that build you up, the people that stress you out, that you're anxious about seeing, the various things that you might have present in your life that you're anxious about. Maybe certain workloads or school loads, or maybe you do some sort of freelance work and that work is stressing you out. Maybe the workload of taking care of your pet stresses you out. Maybe you have a desire to be more creative. Maybe you stress about needing to exercise more, or the idea of exercise stresses you out. Maybe you're overwhelmed by certain responsibilities. Maybe you're stressed out for not having enough free time. Maybe you're anxious about drama with a certain person, or excited about certain parts of your daily routine that you look forward to. Maybe you're stressed out with schoolwork, or anxious about not making enough progress towards your career goals or your financial goals. Maybe you're stressed out about wasting time. Maybe you're excited about seeing your spouse, or maybe you have stressful interactions with coworkers that you don't look forward to. Now, again, there's going to be obvious things that stand out immediately, but I really want you to dig a little bit deeper. Think about the things that you might not be thinking about or experiencing right now, but you do at other times that affect you in some way or another. Maybe you feel stressed out when you have downtime because you don't know what to spend that time on, and you feel discontent sometimes with how you do spend it. Or maybe you actually enjoy doing something in the moment, like going out and hanging out with friends, doing certain things, but afterwards you feel like, man, why did I waste that time drinking and just hanging out doing nothing? Why did I not really lock in on the things that I've been saying that I want to be doing? Really try to dig deeper and think about these things. So with these lists made, you already have a big part of this process done. You have a list of all the things currently shaping your life, the things you're giving your time and energy to, and then you have a list mapping out the more emotional, experiential side of your life, how those things on the first list are affecting you, the things you enjoy about your life, the things that are on your mind, the things stressing you out, etc. The goal here is to make it easier for you to clearly see the bigger picture of everything shaping your life right now. But I also want you to take it a step further. Look at the things on this first list and reflect on why they have a place in your life. How do all these things give back to you and enrich your life? Or on the flip side, how might some of them be setting you back? How or why have they earned a place in your life, a share of your time and energy? That time and energy is yours to give, after all. Shouldn't you be optimizing how you spend them to make your life and happiness the best they can be? Now also reflect on how these two lists are connected, how they correlate with each other. You could kind of imagine the first list being the paint and the second as the picture being painted. Everything you've written on the second list could probably be explained by something that is or isn't on the first list. Maybe you wrote down anxiety about not making progress towards your goals, but you also wrote down anxiety about doing certain things with people that you don't really want to do. What's stopping you from drawing a boundary with those things that aren't serving you so you can dedicate some time towards fulfilling your goals or enriching your life? I promise the empowerment, the feeling of growth and self-esteem, the happiness, the satisfaction that comes from making those decisions is more worth it than you could ever imagine. I want you to really spend some time reflecting on these things and realize that you have much more control over all these things than you realize. And you do have the power to shape your life through your behaviors, your decisions, how you spend your time and energy, and truly transform it to align with who you are and find personal happiness. Now finally, we're going to make one last list, and this is going to be the personal blueprint. In this list, we're going to list anything and everything that describes us and defines us as a person in any way. We're going to list our personal values, our beliefs, our life principles, relationships and social standards, our passions, our goals, our dreams, interests, our hobbies, literally anything that describes us in any way. Some examples of this could be that you love music, you love to travel, you want trust ingrained in your relationships, you want financial stability, you want respect in your relationships, you're open-minded, you like things to be lighthearted, you like balance to be in your life, you like empathy, you like photography, you like video games, maybe you like movies, you like diversity, you think self-growth is important, you like reading, you love animals, you like exercise, you love to spend time with your family, you love health, you think it's important to not talk about people behind their backs, you think supportive friendships are important, productivity, mental health. I'm making kind of a broad list here, but I want you to really take the time to sit and think about everything that matters to you, everything that means anything to you, everything that you want to see the life around you painted with, the things that you want to see in your relationships, the things that you want to see yourself doing with your life and with your free time, the things that you want to be able to see all around you if you could. You could kind of put it like this list is going to be everything that you would see around you in your life in a perfect world if you were to be living as close to perfect as you possibly could be. Now, your list should be a lot longer than the example you see me making, and when you're done, I want you to be able to really step back and see a thorough, extensive, long list of everything that defines you. Really dig deeper and try to put some things in there that it really takes you a second to think about. Now that you've finished this final list, the personal blueprint, congratulations, you're nearing the end of this process. Hopefully you've taken some time to write down as many personal traits and descriptions as you can. If you have, you should have an extensive list of things that define you as a person. Things that you want in your life, in your relationships, things you want to spend your time and energy on, your values, your goals, everything that makes you, you. This is why I call it a personal blueprint. The point of this is to help you visualize and reflect on all of these things that you want to see in your life. After all, you need to have a clear goal in order to reach it. We talked about reflecting on the last two lists and thinking about how you can take control in shaping your life through your behaviors, your decisions, the things you decide to give your time and energy to. This personal blueprint is going to serve as a guideline for how you should make those decisions moving forward to reshape your life. These things on this personal blueprint, your values, your passions, your goals, are how you should decide what things are worthy of your time, your energy, and commitment, what social obligations you should commit to, and where you should draw boundaries. I want you to reflect on this list and think about what changes you may be able to start making right now to start reshaping your life in small ways to decrease the stress and anxiety in your life and increasing the presence of personal values that align with you. Things that will fuel you with self-esteem, self-satisfaction, happiness. I want you to realize that if you're not actively engaging and striving to incorporate these things that serve you and make you happy into your life, you're shooting yourself in the foot because you're missing the opportunity to live to the fullest and experience amazing levels of happiness and fulfillment with your life. More so, I want you to realize that all of these things are the things that make you the unique and valuable individual that you are, and you should treasure and value and respect everything on this list. It doesn't matter what anyone else thinks about any of them. This is for you. And I want you to make a commitment to valuing and increasing the presence of these things in your life for your own betterment. Through your decisions, your behaviors, every way that you're able to shape your life moving forward. This is the true meaning of living authentically that I've been talking about. And when you truly commit to valuing and manifesting the things on this personal blueprint, I think they can powerfully reshape your life and transform it to start building deeper happiness and fulfillment with your life. I genuinely hope this video was helpful in getting you to start thinking about ways that you can assess your life and take control back over it and even reshape it to be in line with who you are and the life that you want to live. I hope I was also able to get across to you the importance of being authentic to yourself and valuing yourself for who you are and the things that make you special, the unique person that you are. Because we are all unique, but that's what makes the world beautiful. You should be cherishing those things and ingraining them in your life. You should be valuing your own happiness and your goals and the things that are going to make you happy. Leave a comment sharing something you'd like to reshape about your life or something you'd like to change about it. I'd love to hear something about where you're at in your life right now. And I'd also love to hear feedback on how I can improve or other things you might like to see videos about. But with that being said, genuinely thank you so much for watching. I hope you have an awesome day and I'll see you in the next one.